Welcome to your daily writing habit. I'm your host, Christine Whitmarsh, otherwise known as Christine Inc. That's spelled I-N-K, like the stuff you write with. Each day, I'm sharing with you the writing habits I've learned from my 18 years as a ghostwriter, book coach, and bestselling author. I have found that 3 areas in particular can have a huge impact on your success as an author. Those areas are writing fundamentals, productivity, and mindset. So this week I'm talking about the things that I look for when I'm doing my what I call an editorial analysis service for authors. So their manuscript is either done or mostly done, and they're just basically bringing it to me to look for big gaping holes and big problems that maybe they can't see because, when you're writing your own book, you can't see the forest for the trees when you're inside of your manuscript. So they're bringing it to me for that outside professional opinion so that I can catch what's working, what's not, and really, any kind of the big editing recommendations that they need to be thinking about before they hand their manuscript over to a professional editor who will finalize it and before the book is published. So this week I've been sharing with you some of the most common writing fundamentals that I look for during that service when I'm reviewing manuscripts, and I'm giving you tips on how to execute on those fundamentals well. So a smaller yet important thing I'll point out to authors as I'm reviewing their manuscripts is RunOn Sentences. And in this case, I will admit it takes one to know one. I am a RunOn sentence addict in recovery, and how do you think I'm doing? So did you try to read this sentence out loud? Are you out of breath yet? But seriously, how am I doing with my addiction? And that's a good test for it, by the way. Try reading your sentence out loud if you think it's a little bit long, and see if you run out of breath. And that's a sign that maybe you have a run-on sentence problem. So I would look at it that way. Super, smaller, shorter tips in terms of our writing fundamentals, but something to look at, because anything that affects the experience for your reader of enjoying the experience of reading your book, being in that world that you've created, as I've talked about in a few of these, that's a little thing that can actually affect their experience. It can shape their enjoyment of reading your book because even if they're not reading the book out loud, it's weird. When we're reading a book, we are kind of like reading the sentences in our head. So it doesn't make sense that your brain can run out of breath, but it can a little bit. It can be a very distracting thing if there's a sentence that's going on and on and on and not really kind of giving their mind a moment to reset and start over with the next sentence. So RunOn Sentences, definitely a small detail, but it can be a big deal. So if the first 10 pages of your book contain a total of 20 sentences, then you have a problem. Thank you for tuning in today to your daily writing habit. And if you know anyone else who is writing a book, I would love it if you would share this briefing with them so I can help them succeed as well. Please tune in again tomorrow. And until then, happy writing.